And it never occurred to me, because it's just like, if I don't have, like, is this weird to say, bro? If I don't have the money for something in my bank account, then I can't buy it. I've just never considered anything else. Even with property, like I was saying it to my sister, like even the idea of a mortgage felt weird to me. I was like saying it to her as well. So yes, I'll probably have to save up like 250k then for the first like rental property that we get for investments. She looks at me weird. It's like, no, you just put like a 10 to 20% down payment. I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, oh, you only need 50k. I'm like, but how? It's like, because of a mortgage. And I'm like, it just hit me. And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, but why would I even do that? It's like, I'll just wait. Like, I'll just wait till I can actually afford the thing. Like, why would you set up your future self to pay for you today? So my father gave me this lesson, never get into debt, because he had got into debt for our family. And that meant that he needed to work very long, like hours and jobs that he didn't like, to be able to pay like the monthly like bills of being like a sole earner for the family. There's one final lesson, and it actually stemmed like a while before this. It was still when we were in this house and I was maybe 12 or 13 years old. And I remember I was in the car with my dad, and he had very recently, maybe the same day or the day before, like hit me, like actually like really hurt me. And I don't know, I just had the confidence to really ask him, like, why do you hit us? And I saw the shame on his face. And he said, it's just what he knows. It's what his dad did to him. My grandfather's passed away now. His father disciplined him in this way, and then my father disciplined me in this way. When he said this, honestly, I thought it was bullshit. I thought that was a horrible answer. I didn't think that was a good answer at all. I didn't believe it or anything. I thought like, no, but you're like, I didn't argue with him, but my perception was, I know, but like, you're like, you can choose not to. You're a grown man. You don't have to. And then I learned more and more about psychology and trauma. And I realized that actually his answer was as good as you could possibly have given it. For me to explain this, I might need to go on like a bit of a rant, like not a rant, but a bit of like a story time about an experience that I've had. And it's probably gonna turn off most people watching this, because most people won't really ever understand what I'm about to talk about here, because it's related to psychedelics. I've mentioned psychedelics on a previous video, and there was so many comments of people like, oh, Hamza's doing drugs, but you're supposed to be on self-improvement, bro. I'm not going to get into the argument. If you think psychedelics are drugs, then okay, you can do. But psychedelics, it comes from the earth. You can get it in like literally mushrooms that grow from the ground in particular ways. I don't know how it really works, but there's particular kind of mushrooms that grow from the ground that just seem to have some weird effect on your brain that kind of opens up your level of like understanding and thinking. And I'm not some like weird like addict or anything like that. Like this was literally the first time I'd ever taken them, maybe about 1.5 years ago or something. And I'll tell you the full story if you're interested. If you don't want to hear this, then you can absolutely just click away. But I think this really did change the direction of my life. So I think if you can relate to me, it might be interesting. And you don't have to like take psychedelics. I'm not recommending you to do that. If anything, you get to watch and like learn my lesson from them for free, and you don't even have to take them, right? And I will just say, like, I've taken psychedelics when I've been 100% completely ready to do so. And that's extremely important. I've always done it very safely. I know it's something not to be messed with. What happened was the first time I ever took magic mushrooms and the psychedelic effect, right? The first time I take them, you eat them, and it's, it tastes all weird and stuff. And I just kind of like laid back. And as literally the moment, like they didn't even hit yet. And the moment that I had like ingested this like substance, from that moment on, I've been connected to our caveman ancestors. I know that this sounds silly, but like you've probably heard me like mention it as like an analogy, or like, like I often do speak about like the primal things, the caveman things, don't I? And I don't say that for like show. It's just how like my brain and my thinking works now. Since that point, it's like I can see everything in like the primal, natural caveman way. And the moment that I took it for the first time, I genuinely like I felt like a caveman who had just accidentally eaten it and didn't really know what was like kind of going on, even though I kind of did. I still had my level of consciousness. And that, it was almost like a surprise. It was almost like I felt like I was a caveman who went to eat whatever meal it was, but then ended up just adding the mushrooms, not really knowing. And the thought of it really came up because this like substance has been on the earth like for as long as like plants have. It literally comes from like mushrooms from the ground. Certain mushrooms just have this like psychedelic effect, right? And that just really hit me. It's like some of our caveman ancestors genuinely had this just by accident, right? And like I'm almost like amazed, and like all the visuals come in, and it's like almost like the walls like kind of sliding, almost slowly melting. And the deep thoughts start to hit me